Been doing super damn solid, so I'm not surprised the guys on the desk think that he is actually a favorite in this match.
Oh, man, I feel like both of these players have earned themselves many a fan, but this is definitely one of the guys that everybody absolutely loves to watch play. He is in here, the top left-hand side of Death Aura, the blue Terran player from Team NV, Maru.
And over in the southeast side, playing for Team Africa Freaks, it is TY.
Now, Ben, I don't know if you caught in that interview that Roddy was doing with TY, but he was saying, he was kind of talking to us like, you know, I have a lot of Terrans in my groups. So I sat down with Maru and Dream and we figured out a way to like play against all these Terrans and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, well, you're playing Maru. So did you guys basically discuss how you're going to play against each other? Like, you guys formulated your Terran versus Terrans and now you get to basically just do another practice match against each other?
That would have been a disaster if Dream also joined this group, right? Like the shitty people that you've been planning things with. But we already see Maru is up to no good in this game. And
oh boy,
TY is the one that's going to scout, and he's going for a double gas. So it's like it's a safe opening. It's one of the newer openings in TVT, I suppose, because you go for racks then double gas. But he's going to scout the base of Maru, and if he goes all the way in, which maybe he can't because it's going to be a depot, but he's not really going to know what's going on. And Maru definitely plans on being aggressive with this, and this can definitely catch a Terran off guard.
And I feel like at this moment, I have to mention that in the GSL finals I was talking about, which I want to note was like 4 months ago now. It's been a while, but that was the last time they played. Maru did go for, I think, like 3 different times of like the 6 games. He was going proxy 2 racks or a 2 racks at home with these Reaper openings. So something that I think TY may at least have in the back of his mind for the last time these two played.
Oh, I'm looking at where this SCV is going, and
oh no,
it's so close,
like
and yet so far away. I feel like.
Oh.
So right now he's oh my goodness. Maru can't even see him from the high ground either, which is really, oh my gosh, why is it patrolling there of all places? This is crazy.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. But okay, the Reaper is staying at home over here for TY. He's also gonna have his reactor finishing up in a second. A depot on the low ground is gonna give him a few seconds of advance notice, so at least his own Reaper doesn't get caught in the middle and get ambushed. But the depot gets killed. That was not a cancel.
That's actually a really big deal as well, because so I don't know how much damage Maru planned on getting done with this. There's actually a proxy starport on the map as well. I mean, this is already a wet and wild, a dirty TVT, as Pig would say.
I love that that's the reason why he was actually keeping that SCV there on the low ground. But man, that is not exactly the ideal start over there for TY, but you know, it's not necessarily like a big all-in or anything for Maru. He has his command center and everything behind all this, so he backs off, and now we'll get to see what TY is able to accomplish with the medevac going to be coming on out and Hellions being produced back at home.
Crazy thing about all this is Maru has sensed that something is coming his way, and even though he's only just finished his factory, he's made a second bunker. I don't know where it is exactly in his base. Okay, that's the most random depot. I love it. Okay, so he's got one bunker at the front, and then where's his... He produced a second one, right? Like, I saw it in the production tab, unless he just had it building somewhere, but maybe blocking, I have no idea, but he only has one up. This could get very, very dicey because Reaper Hellion, especially with like the few Marines and the medevac that TY has, I feel like he's baiting this army over here.
Yeah. Oh, that was beautifully done, and that actually gives him the easy chance to elevator all these Hellions up into the main base. A handful of the SCVs have been pulled off the line, but still a few are going to end up falling over here. Medevac really putting in some work, keeping these Marines alive against some of that damage from the Reapers.
This is, oh my god, the lineups, the 4th and 5th Hellion joining as well. They just fight the bunker, so they eventually die. But 10 SCVs going down with this, and this is not over by any means. That medevac, he's actually got nothing that can shoot at it right now. So he's hopping between the bases, he's denying the mining, and he's got a cloak Banshee follow-up behind all this as well.
This is actually absurd. TY is completely seizing control of this game with all of this damage he's been able to get done. And like you were saying, that Banshee is making its way across the map. So if he's able to keep these Hellions alive, he's also been reducing the Marine count, right? So what is there actually going to be to kill the Banshee outside of, I guess, a Cyclone, which might actually go to the natural to help deal with the medevac?
Maru has done a good job of just making sure he has some anti-air available. I think he was producing a Viking and then cancelled it at some point just to get on the Raven. But this lock-on the medevac is actually quite good, and that medevac does bite the dust, so those Hellions cleaned up by the Reapers as well. Great shutdown by Maru.
Oh yeah, absolutely clutch. Because if the medevac had been able to survive and just hit from a different angle from the Banshee, and you had 2 of these aerial units running around with only 1 Cyclone, that would have been a bit problematic. But well, Banshee's still going to be able to find a little bit of damage here with a couple SCV pickoffs, it looks like. Just going to go after a few of the SCVs building depots and everything. But even just denied mining over here is going to be really annoying.
It is a game of denied mining right now, and TY is just toying with Maru. The Raven does pop out at a pretty damn good time, actually, to avoid any further damage. And 4 SCVs, all said and done, gets the Banshee as well. That could have been far worse, considering he just dropped 2 mules as it turned up.
Yeah. Well, the second Banshee manages to survive without really taking any hits, and there's going to be the Raven being produced from that proxy starport. Probably going to send that back home, I would imagine. A couple of the Reapers going to try and move into scout. The siege tank, funny enough, not actually enough DPS to kill the Reapers, so they managed to slow down a command center for half a second.
I love how they try and utilize everything. Like, those Reapers had to dive in there, like, once they committed, right? Getting 1 tank shot, otherwise they got 2. Then it's like, okay, what can I do quickly? I'll get on top of the tank and focus the SCV. So even though it's just 1 SCV, these players are doing anything they can with what they have on the table.
Absolutely. I mean, it is a game of inches at this level where that is going to be the difference maker. And my God, 18 workers.
Ravi, even though we kind of made fun of that, or not made fun, but like pointed it out that he killed the SCV, that CC still hasn't been remade by the looks of it on that production tab.
There's an SCV next to it though, right? Oh my God. Oh.
So every little bit helps, and that helped more than he could have possibly known. And TY, I just saw his face. He was like, damn, I didn't build that. Like, it would be way more than halfway done by now.
Oh, that is absolutely painful right there. But, well, TY is moving across the map now with his army. He's going to be able to find a siege position that I think might be in range of the bunker.
I think it would be if he had air control, but being totally denied by Maru here. Maru, despite taking quite a bit of early damage and the whole fighting being on his side of the map, he's well in this. And I think his third base also finished earlier. The upgrades are fairly close as well. I mean, the one advantage that TY has is his stim's going to be done faster, which means his combat shield is also done faster, and that means he can take, you know, the more meaty, gritty fights that you kind of want to seize. But right now, the game is as even as a game gets, I feel.
Yeah, I love that scan from Maru where he sees the 3rd CC, and he's just like, wait, you're still building that? What? Well, a couple of those barracks are being added on from both these players, so we're getting into that kind of good old macro power phase for both of them. And with a 3rd base being established over here for Maru, the siege tank's getting in position. It seems like it'll be difficult for TY to break through this, but getting in range of the command center might not be a bad place to be until the Ravens come along.
I was talking with Pig before this game even happened, and playing on Death Aura against Maru, and like, it's really difficult because Maru, he loves the defensive style. Oh, these 2 Ravens getting in there, denying mining once again, going to be able to pick off a tank here as well.
It looks like the missile turret actually doing a lot of chip damage to one of those Ravens. Nearly gets one of them, but no Vikings or anything to chase those down just yet, which, funny enough, does queue up Maru to make a couple of Vikings now. Really sees that air superiority.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the upgrades coming along. Maru, realizing that his stim was so delayed, he actually went for a 2nd tech lab to get combat shields faster as well. So that little timing that we talked about where TY's army would be a little bit more beefy, it's not going to be happening this game. A 2nd armory going down for TY, and I'm not even sure that that's a mistake. I think he's realizing the fact that Death Aura is so hard to break your opponent that he's willing to skip a few steps and kind of leapfrog his opponent for the latter stages of the game, which it inevitably is going to get to. Yeah, with that 1-1 finishing up in the combat shields, it does seem like Maru's going to have all the upgrades to tie up with TY for now, as TY makes his big push out over here. He does the scan, sees that the siege tanks are siege up over by the 3rd. He might try and hit from the other side, finds one of the Cyclones, and I think after being revealed with that plus the sensor tower, he's just going to try and back off for now. It's really, really tough to break these Terran players once those sensor towers get up. Yeah, and like the way Death Aura is as well, it's like if you're on the left side of the map, you can only attack up that ramp or like Doom drop into the main. And see that Maru's got both those points covered. And then taking your fourth base, it's all easy, it's all methodical. Both of them are just pumping out SCVs like madmen, and they're starting to get those real deep upgrades going with like second factories, multiple starports on the way. It's a great TBT where neither one of them have made a mistake, and they've both got to pretty much the same point with very, very different routes to get there, I suppose.
Yeah, already seeing actually the double starports being added on over here for TY. So he is really looking to power up onto that air control for the later stages in the near future. But for now, he is trying to push in over here. He's trying to get that sensor tower, actually. He has the scan coming down, gives him vision range. All four of the siege tanks get interference matrix, but to what end? The sensor tower goes down and the tanks for Maru out of range.
Oh no, he just lost that sensor tower as well as it was building, and they're about as pricey as a tank, so Maru will eventually get one tank for like 6 interference matrix. It wasn't even that good of a trade.
Yeah, I mean, does TY still have any Ravens up right now? I know he ran them through and had some damage, but that might be one blessing.
Yeah, he still has two. Still has 2 alive. And he's also going to be assuming air control pretty soon, I would bet, just because he had way more starports in production. His 4th base is already up and running as well, and you know, it's always lovely to see TY's work account. Like, all 4 bases are saturated. And I mean, his SCV count very likely will be reaching even higher numbers in this game.
TY looking so solid right now, and really seems like he's starting to find those little edges, and it's reflected a bit in the supply like you were talking about. Now that you have the air superiority as well, TY starting to add on those liberators. One of the most crucial things in TVT is being able to force unsieges on your opponent's siege tanks, and that's exactly what the liberators are able to do once you get that air superiority to back them up.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that TY hasn't put his second armory to good use yet. Maybe it would have been a tiny bit of a blunder there, not realizing he already... Oh, he cancelled it as our observer showing. Nice. But it's Maru that's now going for the second armory, and TY is kind of skipping out the Raven stage of the game. Like, this is one thing that you tend to see from different Terrans. They have very different responses. Oh my gosh, TY's going for it though.
Yeah, interference pictures coming out on pretty much every single one of the siege tanks, and even though the anti-armor missile has covered all of the Marines, there's nothing to actually kill them. And in the meanwhile, the command center going down is going to be a massive blow there for Maru, who denies a 5th base that was building. That's great. You lost your 4th.
Yeah, that was a really big blow there for Maru, because he has been behind economically.
Oh no.
Now these tanks can get really close to this main base, and the thing is, his air control, even though he's fighting back and fighting the good fight here, TY has the ability to just make more. 13 Vikings. Where are they all, though?
Yeah, I think they're still making their way across the map now, but once they get there, it is going to be so hard for Maru to dethrone this position, which is, like you said, on top of production. He's already been able to take out one of the reactors in the barracks, which is now actually burning down. And as soon as these liberators maybe start pushing back those siege tanks in the main, I actually don't know how the rest of the main base stays safe.
Me neither. Oh, the unsiege to dodge the liberators, but it's too little too late, and TY just has a really phenomenal army. He's got 4 CCs going up behind all this as well. This army's so incredibly hard to push back. His Vikings have to run past the Vikings of TY to get to his army. It is just a leery spot. Nice focus fire of the Liberators, though. They're keeping those out of the game enables his tanks to stand pretty strong defensively.
Yeah, and now we actually see the big Doom drop into the main base, because TY says, well, you know, I have the tanks to cover me on the low ground. It's so difficult for you to move up. Finally, it looks like Maru is actually taking some of the Viking leads over here, but it feels like it's already too late. He's lost so much of his production, even having to lift up and re-land siege or his factories to reproduce the tech labs. The damage has already been done. Maru can't even probably reproduce the units anymore.
He's going for a big counterattack with his own Marines, though, and it's getting quite a lot of SV damage done, but the supply tells the tale of the story. He's going to try and land into those turrets. Oh, no, the game is too fast, and TY ekes out a solid victory in Game 1.
Absolutely stellar play there from TY. I mean, really just getting a firm control of that game with not only just making the move into that air superiority. I loved how he was able to do that with the extra starports and everything, but it's not just the fact that he went for extra starports and oh, that's so great. It's the fact that he was able to leverage them so well, finding that position over at that fourth base, then moving into the main and abusing his air superiority so well there.
It was just a really fun game all round. Like, I love the fact that Maru went for the opening he did, where he had one proxy barracks and made it all look a bit like it could be just the regular double gas opening. Then he got the kill on the SV, kill on the depot, but didn't really go further. I think TY was absolutely lucky he didn't, because he actually made one Reaper into straight reactor, meaning he had far fewer units than Maru. But then he kind of just turned on the aggression and really kept Maru in his base for such a long time, eked out the economic advantage, and ultimately just got his air flowing way faster than Maru. And that really, when it comes to TVT, was Maru's best map, I feel, because he's the one that really likes to be the defender and get to that late game, but TY just didn't allow it.
Really awesome job. And man, I can see Maru, he's at least in good spirits. He's got a good smile on his face. Maybe actually, I think I'm actually looking at the in-game chat. They're having a little chatter between the two because they are good friends and everything. So I am interested to see where game 2 goes, Ben, because frankly, both of these players are really good. And I feel like Maru is absolutely capable of still trying to turn this series around.
Yeah, so if I recall the game between Maru and Beyond that just happened, Maru also started off 0-1, where he just kind of got outplayed, kind of like just got caught off guard. So I definitely think Maru is the kind of player, even though I know a lot of people can know him for a lot of things, be it his micro, his macro, just the way he kind of just uses his units so damn well and uses the whole plethora of like the Terran arsenal. One thing that I really know him for is the fact that he reads his opponents and he can make them do things that he wants to do, very much like a puppet master. Anyhow, we're getting into game 2 of the series, and spawning over in the bottom left, it is Maru.
And up here in the top right-hand side of the map, we have the red Terran player, Team of Freaka Freaks. It's TY.
Jagannatha. Now, this is an interesting map. I know like a lot of players have talked about it being long. A lot of other players have talked about it. It's not even that long. It's one of the shorter maps, actually. But yeah, it's definitely been a difficult map when it comes to Terran in general. Like, I know they like to veto it a lot against Zergs especially. It's mainly because of the way that Zergs can expand like very far away from you. Like if you take the whole horizontal line across the top of the map or the bottom, it's very nice and safe. Doom drop potential as well. There's that massive chasm, or chasm even, which you have to fly over, which, it's hard to get into that main undetected. But I'm interested to see how both of them approach this game, because last time I saw these guys play, or the most famous time, was the GSL finals, where there was lots of proxies going off. Here we see TY opting for a scoutless expansion, which is ballsy as hell, and Maru's the one going for the double gas and scouting, which, he's definitely very cautious. Oh, maybe he is scouting with him SV.
All right, yeah. Wait, Maru, you could have actually gone up into the main if you wanted to, but he gets baited not to and says, no, I'm fine. But it's a high ground CC there from TY, yeah.
Yeah, that is also mentally keeping Maru in the dark here, which is very interesting.
That is fascinating. I guess maybe it's also in the hopes that Maru will double back to the natural and see no, you don't have a command center over here. It's looking fine. It's looking normal. But yeah, even the Reaper for Maru is actually sticking around at home. He's looking around for proxy locations or the SCV.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where obviously expanding on the low ground is better for you economically, but denying your opponent of knowledge and the know-how of what you're going to do, it means that your opponent can't skip corners. And a lot of people don't realize StarCraft 2 is a game of filling out the blanks when it comes to information and your own formula. And this game, TY, he's going to be going for, it is an expansion into Reacted Hellion. This is still something that it's not super duper normal these days. So I love the fact that TY is playing his opponent as much as he is playing StarCraft 2.
Absolutely. Now, the Hellions starting to move across the map over here for Maru, kind of moving down to the south side of that main base. I guess also just getting really good map vision and kind of seeing what is around. If there is something like, say, a proxy starport again or something, you would actually be able to have good vision on that. But like you said, everything is just back down at home over here for TY. And Maru is, funny enough, I feel like going to be arriving at that natural right as the command center does want to get established.
Maru right now must be thinking like, okay, what am I up against? But he does get a good little catch of the first Hellions. Oh my gosh, he ran up the ramp a little bit. But avoids quite a chunk of damage, actually. Kills one Hellion for one of his own, and the Reapers, they do regenerate, so he kind of knows what's up. And he does have a Reaper on the other side of the map, but nice evade by Maru.
Yeah, very, very cute. Able to load up all those SCVs into the command center and eventually unload them, get them back to mining. Oh, there's actually 6 SCVs over here, so you can't load all of them into the command center right now, but you will be able to repair and buy time until the rest of the units get out.
Yeah, a little bit of lost mining there for sure for Maru, but keeping all the SCVs alive, and I guess delaying the orbital from changing as well. TY can't be too displeased with how that Reaper did.
Yeah. Hellions managed to find one of the Reapers, or I should say, I guess the Reaper scouts out. The Hellions are so far on the map. Looks like we're also going to see a little Raven run by for some auto turret harassment coming out soon, which, man, Ben, I always feel really weird when I see these because I feel like I've seen so many times, I want to say lesser Terran players try and do this. They use that auto turret harass energy, and then they just get pushed, don't have the interference matrix, and really have a hard time. So we'll see how much damage this gets done.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like, so far it absolutely gets repelled by Maru having a Cyclone in the perfect location, and that's one thing that makes this map a little bit more tricky. It's very obvious where you would Doom drop because you can't fly over the natural into the main, or, I mean, you can, but that's terrible. So that Cyclone was lovely placed. And we have... TY is actually going for something very aggressive here. So he's delaying his 3rd CC, and he's going into super Viking production and siege tank production. And even though the 3rd is on location, this shows that he's going to be aggressive to like defend that location. So yeah, the next few moments or the few minutes will be all about TY being aggressive, I think.
All right, so well, if there's one thing we've already seen from game 1, and I keep saying like the GSL finals that they played, TY really loves having that air superiority, as I think he was the player that went into like 7 Raven BC in one of those games and everything. So having that air superiority does allow you to be aggressive like you were saying, and he's gonna be able to move out over here. Looks like Reaper gets a scout out on a couple of the Vikings, so does know that it was already like a move into that Viking production, not just medevacs.
This is so gnarly here. Like, for Maru, he's got that reacted starport at the front, but that's like his most valuable building, basically, when it comes to the air versus air battle. I'm interested to see how he positions defensively, as well as TY. Where does he choose to go for, really?
Yeah, I'm trying to look for the angles right now. The Raven's going to be able to come in, do a little bit of auto turret harassment, slow down a few of these buildings, but as the scans come out, it does look like Maru has those siege tanks already sieged up in position to defend his main base, and yeah, TY just backs off, actually.
I like these amount of SV kills that he just got, as well as having his 3rd on location. That was great. Like, he's already eked out the lead that he wanted. We look at it, 52 SVs to 44. Maru, though, he is not just going to take a punch and take it lying down. He's absolutely going to see what he can get done with his own Ravens.
Moving on forward, Depot will provide a little bit of early scouting vision over here. I'm not sure if TY is going to have anything else that he's really looking at besides this, so he should be able to react pretty quickly. And, well, that's an odd place to... Okay, he's pulling in to repair the tech lot. I was like, he's going to pull his SCVs into the auto turrets, but, ooh, gets both of the Ravens.
And he didn't get stim either. Like, 9 SCVs is all well and good, but losing your 2 Ravens and not denying the stim like you wanted, again, just a nice little win for TY. And having 2 Ravens against none, yeah, I'm not surprised he's marching out. Maru has to buy time somehow because this army of TY is so fierce.
Oh, they're going to be meeting in the middle of the map over here, but the siege tanks already sieged up over here for Maru, and TY is looking for another angle. Scans coming down for both sides, and that Cyclone sacrifices its life to try and get a Raven, but he doesn't even get that, Ben.
Yeah, this is bad. I mean, like, this tank positioning by Maru, I've got to say, it's super duper clean. Like, you're not getting up that ramp, even if you've got Ravens, but, whoa, TY going into the main with these Vikings and the Ravens, but trying to run away here does keep the Ravens alive. This is actually a hard army to clean up, unless, oh my goodness, Maru goes underneath.
Yeah, a couple auto turrets are gonna at least clear the way for a few of these Vikings to get back, but that's a majority of the Vikings going down over there. Really, really risky gamble from TY. Does not pay off. Now Hellion's gonna try and run in, and wow, they get a lot of good damage on those Marines, but man, I guess the Vikings are just gonna sacrifice their lives for a couple of SCV kills over here.
Is it just SCV kills, though? Is it? Like, this is a lot of TY on the right side of the map. Maru has to posture himself so well and defensively here. And, like, these Vikings, they're actually trading pretty darn well with these Marines as well.
Oh my god, yeah. I actually think if that Viking stayed landed, it would have been able to kill those 3 Marines if the SCVs hadn't pulled themselves. But, wow. TY now going to be sitting up almost 20-30 supply. Has his next command center already on the way, and Armory also getting started on up, and you can see resources lost just definitely favoring TY a little bit.
Yeah, and he's still got his Ravens alive, right? Yeah, he does. Like, I mean, one got away
wow.
by the skin of its teeth kind of thing, but he's ramping up as he should, and the main thing is he's been super unhindered as well. Like, this shimmying around, even though Maru's done a good job of staying alive, given that it was a very precarious situation, TY's had free reign to do whatever he pleases, and he's got his sensor tower up earlier, he's getting turrets. He's just looking damn good. His armory's finishing as well, so 2-2 will start earlier than his opponent.
Two upgrades as well.
Credit to Maru, though, like, even though he was behind in SCVs and, you know, the Viking harass and stuff, he's actually managed to eke out a little bit of an SCV against TY of all people. Like, TY is the SCV build. TY is getting ready to establish his 4th base, though, which is done, so it's just going to be about flying it over, getting another sensor tower up. Like, he's just manipulating the map beautifully, and Maru, it's a very similar situation. He's going to be playing catch-up, and that means he has to do something a bit extreme, but the question is, what do you do?
Yeah, I was going to ask, actually, do you feel like this is a situation where Maru wants to try and finally get a little bit of map presence? Because he has been so pinned back this entire time. He's been basically the one on the defense for almost the entirety of the game.
Like, against a lot of Terrans, I think Maru's style of just getting to the late game and knowing how good you are with Viking Raven and just the normal army composition is pretty smart to do. The thing is, he's going up against the one Terran that I feel that can do it just as good as you, but he's also throwing in Liberators into the mix, and he's out-economying you as well. So getting up to, like, the 3 starports very, very quickly, getting the upgrades going. I like the fact that Maru has, like, started up his 2nd armory, though, and getting the upgrades going, because that will come in handy once the air battle does start.
Ooh, so Maru a little bit later with this, but he does get his 2 starports up, not too much further behind TY this game. So might be a slight period of time where TY's production is going to be a bit better with those Vikings and the Liberators, but, well, hold that thought. We might see the big fight coming out first over here. The Vikings engaging and taking out one of the Liberators over there for TY, but TY's Marines are demolishing this 4th base, and Eileen literally killing the 4th base itself.
That is amazing by TY, and that is such a big victory for him. Like, the economic advantage is still in his favor. Maru did a good job of keeping all his SCVs alive, and they're also, like, you know, keeping upgrades going amidst all this chaos, but Maru, he hasn't lost anything besides the CC, actually, so even though it was good, TY lost his Ravens, and I think a Liberator or 2 there, too.
Yeah. All right, well, we see that this is going to be a very tough situation now for Maru. So what is his game plan? He's hunting around with his Vikings, trying to force the medevacs back. Is he looking for a moment, just go in, or just finding whatever free damage he can? The command center still just can't land. And every second that goes by, Maru is falling further behind.
He is, but he's the cockroach Terran, basically, when it comes in, like, to this matchup. And I don't want to say this is what he aims for every time, but it almost is. Like, he just wants to get to late game, have the air control game, and every moment that goes by, oh, lovely pickup by TY, and he will be trading with his tanks, the tanks in the high ground, but Maru's kind of breaking out here.
Yeah, oh, loses a lot of Marines at the very end thanks to those tanks that re-siege, so TY still gets a good bit of damage done, but here comes army number 2, knocks out the sensor tower. lifts up those Vikings to regain that air superiority as he gets his siege tanks in range of the planetary. And now this has literally become a siege on a very, very important base that I don't think Maru can afford to give up. Maru's going to try and fight this head on, and I think he does have the numbers for it.
Yeah, I think Maru's actually hanging on very well despite the pressure. Because, I mean, this isn't easy to do. Like, he has no sensor towers available anymore, and that isn't because he didn't make them, it's because TY actually killed them. But TY, like, we got to give him credit as well. He's the one putting on all the pressure, and he's not slowing down. His 3-3 started immediately, 5 Vikings at a time, and his supply hasn't really dropped too far under 200, and his minerals and gas, they just stay so ridiculously low, so he's macroing like a beast behind all this as well.
Yeah, a lot of that TY takes the time to siege up just to kill off that sensor tower yet again. Looks like another one is going to get started up a little bit further back this time here for Maru, but Maru's got that Liberator over here, joined with those Vikings, so he's able to thrown, I would say, the position for these siege tanks, not quite de-siege, so it just does get picked off, but 5th base now being established there for TY in the top left. I have to imagine some of Maru's bases are starting to run a little bit drier on resources. I feel like the 5th base is going to be such a complicated question of how he's going to establish that.
It is, but I'm looking at the upgrade tab constantly, and the things that Maru's getting, and he's creeping out this base on the far left, but oh, a drop in the main. This is where things are going to get dicey. Maru is establishing himself. Like, I can't believe he's getting that 5th, but behind this drop, actually. But this is dealing a lot of damage, and TY is attacking in multiple spots right now.
Yeah, Viking count lead not going to matter if you got the anti-armor missile on all of your opponent's Vikings. Now, the medevac drop does have to pick up, and funny enough, I think it's going to go over the 5th base location. TY going to fight regardless of the anti-armor missiles, and it feels like he just has maybe comfort in that he still wins this Viking war.
I mean, he's very close in supply, but he's landing the Vikings, the tanks. They can't get their job done. The SCVs are pulled as well. Where is Maru's army? TY just taking him apart here at the 3rd base. TY with a 20 supply lead after all said and done, but Maru, he's still not down and out just yet, but TY, does he know about this other base? I think he's going to know for sure, and yes, he does.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure that that's quite the army you need to take out a planetary. Stemmed up Marines with no medevacs, but he gets a siege tank also to back that up. He might try and go in for that a little bit later on. Vikings getting picked off on the retreat, and now Planetary Fortress can't lift up, Ben. There's no escape for that 5th base if TY goes a-hunting for it.
And look at the top side of the map as well. TY totally claiming his half of the map. And again, not slowing down at all. Saturated perfectly on most of these bases. His income is insane. Maru, on the other hand, he's struggling, man. He's struggling to get up his 4th base, never mind a 5th.
Yeah, I mean, you don't always see it, but those little arrows on the above the minerals and the gas on that bottom overlay, all of them pointed at TY because he has a heavy income advantage right now. Raven number 1, Raven number 2 goes down for Maru. The Vikings now just going after medevacs, and even though most of the Marines have been taken out for both sides, the 5th base is still going to get sieged over here by that 1 siege tank, and there's not really a whole lot to actually get in to defend it until he's able to take out that last tank.
Yeah, I mean, Maru does hold, and yet again, but he's definitely down in supply. He's down in resources. Like, upgrade-wise, he's actually hanging on pretty strong. He's got +2 armor on his air, which kind of counteracts the +1/+1 that TY has. But the thing is, TY, he's just done such a good job of leaning on Maru. This is definitely like the big kid on the playground that just gets a little bit of an edge and just leaning on Maru all the way. And he's not giving Maru any chance to breathe at all in this game.
Yeah, another drop heads into the main base, which actually triggers actually all of the medevacs head on home. Even just buying a lot of space that way is really, really nice, because now the rest of the army is going to be sharking around for another angle that he can try and push into that 5th. And look, the medevac just comes back in, going to find armories, which are maybe not super useful now that you have most of your upgrades, but, well, it's still going to be just annoying pressure.
It certainly is, and Maru tries to get away with those tanks, gets away with 1, but the PF will fall. It's going to be 15-ish SCVs as well along with it. And the thing is, Maru's not rich at all. He's 150 supply, but his mineral bank is totally gone. And this actually opens up Doom drop potential into the main, and I think this is starting to become too much to handle for Maru.
Oh, that Doom Drop also is not just Marines like all the previous ones. I think there were a few Siege Tanks mixed in the mix. Anti-armor missile also coats those Marines, making it very difficult for Maru to force an engagement, something he desperately needs to try and force right now to try and take some kind of counter damage, but he's losing everything in his main right now. Ben, how do you bounce back from this one?
It's super damn hard. I mean, if anybody could do it, would be Maru of all people. And he's doing a good job. He's counter-sieging on the low ground, does pick off the tank, meaning he will be able to clean this up. But boy, oh boy, the damage has been done. I mean, look at TY. He's not slowing down. And no damage has been done on his side of the map either. Great anti-armor missile, great interference matrix, even dropping the turrets. But Maru is still fighting back somehow.
Maru staying alive with that anti-armor missile. The Ravens both going to end up sacrificing their lives. SCV is being pulled off the line to help fight back TY to keep Maru in this game. And he's going to chase almost all the way across the map back over to TY's own bases. And is Maru actually going to be able to make something happen over here? I mean, if you look at the army supplies, he is up in army supply. It's mostly workers that he's down right now.
Like, I would say no, but again, that went so damn good for him. What is the resources lost habit in this game? Because I feel like TY's been outmining him a lot. In fact, it's so close, even though TY's been so far ahead almost in every possible way. It just goes to show how good Maru is at defending, even when so behind.
It looks like interference matrix coming out on a lot of those siege tanks. So TY losing a few more of those. Has one last siege tank that does get repaired back up and still getting some good shots off. The anti-armor missile makes it really tough for Maru to try and engage. And these Marine fights, these are not Marines he can replace, whereas TY is replacing his units.
But Maru, like, I don't know how he's doing this. Like, I genuinely don't. He's keeping this tank count alive. And if he gets in between the rally points between the bases, that is a scary number of Ravens, though, for TY. But he has to accumulate his forces. He has to build up the energy to disable those tanks.
Well, tanks getting sieged up, almost in range of some of these starports. The Liberator actually getting some nice zoning out over here. The Marines are finally going to be able to stem in, start taking out the tech labs that those starports are on. Even the Natural Command Center is being forced to lift up. Maru, deep in the heart of TY's bases right now, is making his stand, and he's making a stand on the ramp as well.
I can't believe how Maru is able to do any of this.
No.
The Marine count's getting so low, though. He has to deal with that Liberator. He does it. He does it. TY does kind of hold here at the top of his ramp, and Maru, he's still reinforcing, but TY, he's taking even the bases on Maru's side of the map amidst all this chaos. I don't know what the hell is going on in this game. Maru is making a game out of it, though. It's actually looking like it could potentially be leading in his favor soon. What is TY doing on the map with his army?
This is actually unreal. The supplies are even now, as Maru has somehow been able to find so much damage. He heads over to the left, escaping out of the natural and going toward the fresher bases of TY. The bases have been TY's biggest asset throughout all of this. If you start losing all of your mining, well, what's the advantage left there for TY? That's what he's been relying on.
Certainly has. Maru's going to catch these dropships as well at that base. We'll be able to deal with all the Marines, by the looks of it, without really suffering too many losses. And Maru's actually got ahead in supply for the first time in this game, it seems. And he's going through the bases one by one. Oh my goodness. TY must be kicking himself and wondering, how the hell does this guy do this?
Wow. Sieged up on both of the planetary fortresses back to back. One of the planetary fortresses is trying to get repaired up. That is just a lot of siege tank fire. It's going to end up falling over here. There are bases on the right-hand side of the map that TY has, and look at all of the Ravens he's actually just made. He's up to quite a few of them, so, I mean, hey, that's going to give him some energy to utilize for both interference matrix and anti-armor missiles.
Oh, he's on the run. He's on the chase. That's a lot of Marines. That's a lot of minus armor on that army. TY coming in from each and every angle. The Ravens, the interference matrix, as he's locked down all the tanks and he's cleaning up Maru's final army by the looks of it. The game back to square one and yet again.
Oh my god, the Liberator's even finding a lot of damage on these medevacs, as even they are going to end up falling over here. Go figure. And now Maru, he does still have that base that's been mining over here, so he's been able to finally get up some resources, finally replenish some of the army, but now he is down 30 army supply. He's going to have to evacuate. That was just an orbital command, so he can lift it off, but that is, I feel like, going to reduce his mining down to almost next to nothing.
It certainly will, but like TY, look at the red. It's just kind of like scattered across the map right now. He does have orbitals mining on the far right side. It's this number of Ravens that he has, and I thought those SCVs were going to meet each other randomly on the map just then. But yeah, this is a phenomenal game by both of them, honestly. I don't know who I'm more impressed with.
It's been absolutely ridiculous, and wow, TY is going to be able to find another snipe on an orbital. I want to remind you guys, there are not a lot of orbitals left right now for Maru. He's going to try diving on in with these Marines. He throws down some of the auto turrets. The anti-armor missile coming out for both of these players. It looks like TY is going to get the better end of it, though, with all the good old turrets to back him up.
And TY not missing a second here, goes right back into the main. He's going for the production, and yet again, I mean, this base, it is in tatters here. Takes out a few of Maru's Ravens as well, takes out the rest of the army. GG, TY, wow. What a game.